Sorry, I'm just looking at these parts that need to be dealt with today. Yeah, well, I spray painted them. The spare tire cover came out okay. Okay, and there's supposed to be a spare tire under here, but this is just like a vinyl cover that goes over it on a shelf in the back of the car. But the seats, there are some spots on there that need touching up. And I usually don't like to do this, but I'm just going to do it by brush. I'm going to just put this in the box of the parts that are kind of completed. Um, when I spray painted it, there's these areas underneath. This is like this metal. It's going to be painted silver. It's a chrome trim kind of thing, and then there's a seat lever on the other side, and the spray paint didn't get underneath there very well. There's just some spots from the bottom. What I probably should have done is I should have held it up and rotated it, like under here too. It's probably not going to show when it's assembled, but yeah. So the thing I did that I thought would work didn't work perfectly. It's not bad, but some things need to be done to correct the situation. So what I do is I spray some of the spray paint into a container like this and then use a brush and brush it on. And I have to use the spray paint because really, no, it's not. It's just not even covered right. I need to touch these up. It's hard. Is the lighting where I spray this isn't very good, so this isn't sprayed well. So I need to respray it. So really, what I'm just going to do is not do the brush part. I'm just going to respray the seats from the top, I guess. Let's put some of this blue tape on there. So what I was planning to do today isn't going to get done until maybe later in the stream. I don't know. Maybe later, maybe not. This is Monday. It is a Monday, and it is acting like a Monday already. Trying to get some tape on the bottom of this so that it sticks to this cardboard so it doesn't go flying. We don't have the pop filter on the microphones anymore, so you can hear the dogs bark now when they get up. So probably take I don't know, an opinion poll of some sort. Say, hey, do you want the filters back on, or do you not mind hearing the furnace and the water heater buzzing in the background? Well, I should do this outside, but I'm not going to because I want to just get it done. So I'm gonna be off camera here. I'm gonna spray a little paint on the seat. That might be okay, might not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm feeling Monday today. This is a very Monday day, Monday. Okay, well, guess we'll just do some things and see how the things go. Um, Last week I did manage to get the engine done, except for the exhaust headers, which I haven't put on because they need to fit into the exhaust pipes, which are in this box, which are chromed and need to be cleaned up before they can be attached. Chromed exhaust pipes. This model also came with a stock exhaust, which would have been okay, but it would needed to have, it doesn't show up on the instructions, so I don't even know why it was in there, but it needed to be put in before the whole rear suspension was put in. Otherwise, it needs to be cut into pieces. So I'm just going to go with a chromed exhaust. Why not? Maybe I'll start the day by getting those prepped. What I mean by that is that the sprue attachment, this needs to come off, and then they get attached pretty much just like that. No, yeah, and I need to cover up these holes in the bottom. I need to cover those so that they don't show through. Um, I want to do that. I'm going to kind of cheat on that. I'm going to actually, what I'm going to do is just I don't know what I'm going to do. What I want to do is cut some of these off a little bit and plug the holes from the inside. Okay, well, that'll be a fiddly bit thing to do. This is the stock exhaust that we're not using. Okay, well, the day is starting out with me, as frequently happens, the day is starting out already behind, which is to say that I am already not going to be able to do, at least initially or early on, the things that I was hoping to get done today. So I don't know how this is going to go. What I'm going to try to do, though, is I'm going to try to remove the sprue that is hanging on here to the exhausts without totally destroying the chrome plating on the side exhaust things. There's some up here. And I'm going to do that by gently filing this, because sandpaper isn't going to give me enough avoidance of the chrome. It'll get on the chrome. So I'm hoping that by keeping the angle right and doing this very, very slowly, excruciatingly slowly, much to the bemusement of the audience. It's not the right word, probably. The chagrin, I wish something more interesting was happening. That's fair. And then I'm going to touch those with just a little bit of chrome silver paint, which may or may not do anything to cover up the fact that the sprue messes up the chrome plating. So with the pop filter off, at least you can hear the background noises. You can hear the water heater, you can hear the furnace, you can hear the dogs, you can hear I don't know what that sound is. Oh, the furnace came on. You get to hear that. Furnace is going to come on because it is still not as cold as it was last Friday. Okay, where it got down to like minus 17 Fahrenheit here overnight, but it's still pretty chilly out, and so the furnace is running quite a bit. Well, it's not too bad. There's a lot on here. I could, I suppose. There's a flaw. The problem with this too is that the mold seam can't I can't get rid of it on these pipes because it's chrome plated, and in order to get rid of it, I'd have to destroy the chrome plating, which I could do, and then repaint the whole thing, but it wouldn't be as shiny, and this is supposed to be shiny. So here it is being shiny. Now that I know you're hearing it, I'm paying attention to some of the sounds in the basement, and there's some really interesting ones. Hi, Who. Thanks for joining on in so early. I will do a flip right after I finish this, which is pretty much any moment now. Okay. Let me, oh, there's a nice little chrome bit there, sparkly. Today, living or not living seems to be appropriate. Really, I don't know. What's on this one? This one says is good. I'm gonna flip the Here's an a not 3-1, 3-2, 4-2, wins. So as I was telling everyone before you came on, Who this has started inauspiciously, or depending on how you look at it, auspiciously, in that the stuff I painted over the weekend didn't get covered very well and needed to be resprayed. So I did that. Sitting there drying. It should dry. It takes about an hour or so to dry. So probably later in the stream, if I keep going today, I don't know. I'm feeling a distinct lack of motivation today. Serious lack of motivation. So depending on how things go, I don't know. I can't promise, but I might end early. Just depending on whether the things that are going poorly come back around and are an encouraging continuation of the effort to build this thing, or whether it just doesn't come around, in which case the better part of valor, as the cliche says, or in this case, just the better part of just not screwing up. See how that goes. Spending some time here dealing with chrome parts. So I'm going to promise that I'm not going to get very much done today, I don't think. What I was planning to do was to paint the aluminum. Well, they were probably really chrome on the original car. Some of the detailing on the sides of the seats, because there's some metal framing on the sides of the seats that should be painted that color instead of just being left black. And I was going to try to do like the door handles and the window crank on the sides of the interior of the car. Because those were also chromed and not chromed on the model. This isn't really an excellent model. This isn't adequate. I just really screwed that up. Turned it the wrong way and screwed it up. Oh well, it's Monday, isn't it? What I mean by screwed it up is I scratched the chrome right there. That's toward the inside of the car. You'd have to turn it over and rotate it to see it, but still, it's pretty annoying to have done that. Okay, I know this doesn't make much difference, but it really doesn't, but I'm going to do it anyway, which is to do a little bit of touch up on the chrome with some silver paint. This is the paint I'm going to be using here. This is the paint I'm going to be using for like the door handles and window cranks and gear shift levers and things like that. Yeah, with the filter off, you can actually hear the buzzing of the thing I use to mix the paint, stir it up. And I just need yeah, that's got a point on it. I'll use that. I'm gonna not, I don't know if I'm gonna squeeze, yeah, mutter, mutter, mutter. I was debating about not squeezing it out, but it'll work better if I do. Yeah, I found that there really just isn't any paint that can replicate the shininess of the chrome plating. You know, there just isn't, and so it can't be done then, I guess. Maybe there is. I should look into it. It might be worth an investigation. Well, those are the shiny exhausts. I'm going to do is get the box of parts that are kind of ready to go. This has the bottom of the car, right? And then these parts in this. Actually, I could put the engine in here too. I should probably just do that and get all of these ready to go parts. Great. Let's knock that over. It's important to knock things over. This won't stay up like it should. I guess that doesn't matter. It's all cemented together. So these will be in theory, if not in practice, um, ready to be assembled somehow. Okay. Well, I'm going to move on to this part. This is the tachometer pod. Okay, because the stock version of the car did not come with a tachometer. So when they made the GT350 version, they added a pod to the top of the dash where there's a tachometer and probably an oil pressure gauge. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I'm going to try to paint those later, but the problem was when this was molded, it came with a divot in it. That's what I put some filler in, and I'm going to sand that now, and I'm going to say that with almost complete certainty that because the filler shrinks, I might have to do it. I might have to put another coat in. See, the divot's still there. I suppose this would be easier if I took it off the sprue. Maybe there's enough filler in there. When it's sanded. I kept it on here so that I had it clipped to the side of a box. While the filler was curing. But there wasn't any way to hold it. But this is in the way on the top. But if I take, I don't know. Just gonna do this. Still sort of see the divot in the middle. Not going to really be able to tell until it's painted, at least with the primer. And then if necessary, I've done this before, you know, you just fill it and it looks like it's okay, and then prime it and it doesn't, and then just sand it down and reprime it. That's how that goes. This is not looking bad though. It's actually looking okay. Hmm. So I know I got 1,000 grit stuff in here somewhere, but I don't think I marked it. Okay, I'm actually just going to take that off the sprue and clean up the part and polish the top after I get these the sprue marks off. I don't know if I can, if this gets done, I might have done something today. Just using my fingernail to feel. Yeah, there's still a little bump there. It's this is just this works better than looking at it, even with a head magnifier. Okay, and then this polishing cloth across the top here. And the divot. can still see the difference in color. You can't tell. It looks like there's still a tiny spot of indentation there in the middle. It's really hard to tell. No, I won't be able to tell until I paint it. I'm going to put this in the box of parts that are tiny and get lost. Put my unmarked sandpaper back in the thing there. Well, I could attempt to install the engine and the exhaust and the exhaust headers. I could attempt to do that. I could get the wheels out. These are chromed. I could get the wheels out and attempt to put the wheels into the tires. Just looking at the instructions, I'm seeing the no cement. The no cement is on the inside of the tire, but they're supposed to cement these edges where they come together. I'd had that same issue with the Lotus Ford, and the wheels, the two halves of the wheels didn't make contact inside the tire. I had to clamp them. Like I had to use like 3 or 4 clothespins on each one to clamp them shut. One of the tires actually cracked under the pressure. Well, I've got all these parts, and I really don't know how they go together. So let me take them out. And see how this goes. I don't know. It has to be done eventually, right? Oh yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting. I need to cover those holes down there. Let's see if this. These don't really fit. They're supposed to. That's where they're supposed to go. Hmm. I'm going to try this. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it. This is cardboard that's painted the same color and with the same flat surface cover on it. Not cover, the same flat overcoat. Not like the overcoat you wear when it's really cold, which you should do. When it's really cold, you should do that. And then I'm going to peel it off. And I'm going to rubber cement it on. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to hold it against this. Let's see what it looks like on the other side. Now, it looks like there's holes there, but you can't see through them. They're just blacked out. Yeah, if I'd known that those holes were going to be there, I would have filled them in and sanded them down and made them disappear. But I didn't until it was too late. I'm going to put rubber cement on the edges in the middle, and hopefully it will stay there. Oh, maybe there it is. I knew I had some. So this is less than ideal. It's just unfortunate. I'm just saying, it's just really unfortunate that um, those holes are there, and I didn't think about them until it was too late. Pretty much just too late. I say to put the rubber cement on both sides of the thing that's being cemented on, so I'm going to do that. Okay. Yeah, it covered it up, and they're black now. Stuff. What the insides of the car, I painted this, but sometimes it's not covered and it shows white. I did that with the Pogo too. Painted a lot of the inside stuff. Um, so these attach to each other. These are supposed to. No, that's where it mounts. Okay. Of course they don't match up. The engine mounts, there's just two little prongs there. Yeah, that was just held on by friction and it unfrictioned. I might have to do something more. These two little prongs fit into these two little. Oh, geez, of course. Okay. That's the problem. I need to actually drill that hole bigger because this little prong here doesn't fit. Sorry. Making sighing noises. I want to use the teensiest drill that I've got. This is a very handy thing. It's a pin drill. You put a little drill bit in, and this at least theoretically tighten it. But there's a little hole here. It doesn't go anywhere near deep enough for the pin on that to go all the way in. Yeah. So if I get that on there, why is it so sideways? Okay, that's right. There, that's how that's supposed to fit. And then that's supposed to be in there, but it's not. Why isn't that going in there? Okay. No, that's how it's supposed to go. Does that have any kind of... Looks like there's a little pin that should be going in there. There, actually, I'm not going to cement that. It is where it's supposed to be, and it's sticking. As long as no one yanks on it, it should be okay. So this held on here just fine with friction a while ago, and now it's just not. Okay, so attaching these with the engine in, yeah, this could all just have to be bad, come apart bad. I'm gonna leave that off. Yeah, actually, this will be easier if that's not on. I suppose this one's stuck. Um, let's go just like that. Well, at least I'm seeing where it goes and not succeeding in how it goes. That's how it attaches right there. I'm going to hold this in place. Okay. And then somehow those are supposed to go together. They don't really. Mm. Okay, it looks like the the exhaust pipes really do need to be attached first, and then somehow those need to be manipulated so that they line up. Okay. Um, no, it's good that I'm messing with this. Well, hopefully I won't. Getting those on is going to be pretty tricky. Well, that's how the engine goes in anyway. I guess I can turn it over and install these. Helps if I install them. the right orientation. Yeah, they go on like that. And the other one goes on like this. Yeah, I don't see any reason not to do that right away. Yeah, I'm just not talking, am I? I'm sighing a lot. This is a sighing day. It's a sighing Monday. Why are you sighing? I don't know. Eliminating excess carbon dioxide. I'm not really sure. Oh, yeah, the paper towel's on the floor, isn't it? Okay, that's another sigh. Maybe some coffee will help. Maybe not. Maybe I'll put it here and knock it over. Well, there. Now there's shining exhausts with mufflers that resonate to make it noisy. I'm going to let that set for a bit. And then this one goes here. and figure out how to attach. I'm going to do the difficult one first, the one with the they're attached. That needs to go on like that. And I can see that it's possible. Of course, those don't line up. That'll have to be manipulated forcefully later. Okay. No, that's not bad. That's not too bad. These were made, the headers were made to work with the stock exhaust, not the chrome one. Well, if I can get the contact cement on both parts and do what I just did with the cement on them, that would be a good thing. Then they would be attached. So I'm going to attempt to do that. So I'm going to attempt to do what I successfully just did, except this time with the cement in place, which makes it, I don't know, we'll just see how it goes. Well, that's what's supposed to happen. Guess that's as far up as it goes. That's not quite right. There. Okay, that's not bad. That it's sort of aligned back here, pretty close. I can wiggle that a little, but that's This is where it should be. I have to do that to the other side. I'm putting these on in not the correct order because I wasn't sure how they would fit. They actually fit better than I anticipated. I guess that's a good thing. Some touching up to do here. Black. I'm not sure what will end up showing. When the body is put on, I really don't know yet. So I'm going to have to assume that things will show. With a little spot like that, I'm likely to not use the spray paint, but just use the flat black. Use this flat black. Oh, come on. Okay, they actually line up kind of okay to do. I have to put this on now. I'm getting impatient. Slow down. Just slow down. Make sure it's oriented correctly. There. That should stay on. This got bumped. Reorient that. Yeah, there. I actually got this installed. The engine is in place, held on frictionally. I mean, it's possible to pop it off. Hopefully it won't. The exhausts are not perfectly lined up here. That's better. Are they not sticking? No, they'll stick. Okay, I'm going to leave this like this. Make sure that those are still where they should be. So it's a little far back, but it bumps up against. Keep banging into that. Good thing it's contact cement and it can be manipulated. Yeah, the fan actually will turn. Okay, well, those parts are there. They're stuck on, nothing's falling off. It needs some touching up. I might just do that. Let me clean up. I got little bits of cement laying around and tweezers and things that are just in the way. That's covered up this way. This way. This brush will do. Progress is happening. I've got the engine installed. I've got the exhausts installed. Yeah, that's okay. The bottom of the car is pretty much complete and it's not bad. And what that's about. I got contact cement on the suspension. That's not really good. That's going to show. There's all just when I thought things were okay, then they're not. Okay, well, that's marring the paint. I'm going to paint both of those then so that they're symmetric. Because somehow or other, I got some cement on that part. I don't know how I did that, but I did. And the paint I'm going to be using will have a slightly different look to it. But I'm not going to use the spray paint. So the way I'm going to cover for that is that I'm going to paint both of them the same touch-up paint color. I don't know how I did this though. It's really annoying. Really annoying. At least I didn't use model cement, which would have melted everything. Okay, well, it's touch-up time. Never use that. My screen up there is telling me there's all sorts of updates I need to worry about. That's annoying. Whenever that happens, something breaks. You know, it just does. Okay, this has to be painted. And so that it looks okay, I'm going to paint the other side also. And then I don't know if these are going to show or not. But I'm going to paint them black. Okay, I think I fixed things that needed to be fixed. This keeps moving. This keeps moving. This is the I need to stop messing with it stage. So there, not messing with it. A lot of this will show once the car is put together. The hood opens up and shows the engine, which is why they bothered making a model of the engine, right? So there it is. And the best thing for me to do now is to clean up the mess I've got around here. What time is it? It's only 11:30. It looks like I can do more stuff if once I clean things up or wash them down or whatever direction things need to go in today. Okay, but I've got a real mess here. I've got little pieces of scrap of painted cardboard. I've got toothpicks with contact cement. I've got tweezers and pins, scissors, brushes, tubs of water that are likely to spill, a tray full of needle pin drills. Okay, I'm going to get rid of these. These have cement on them. If I reuse them, it's going to be something bad will happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up, walk away from the camera, throw this trash in the trash, come back and put this in the done box so that I leave it alone. Okay, so I have this box here that I keep bumping the lid on. It's got the spare tire cover. This whole thing, this whole assembly, I'm not going to turn it over. I'm not going to just take it. I'm not taking chances here. I'm going to put this in the box with that and close the cover and put it aside. And hopefully I won't knock the box on the floor and break everything that I just did. So, yeah, now what? Now what? So I have, let me celebrate my accomplishments here. Here's just, I have completed steps 6, 7, 4. I haven't completed 4. I haven't installed the seats, but I have put them together. But I have done 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's pretty good. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have done 7 steps out of 22. Yeah. These are all the easy parts, you know. It's like, oh, yeah, this isn't too bad. And then I flip it over and I go, look at all of these little bits, all of these weird little bits of things that need to be put together. I can do things out of order. What is a flat black? I could do, I'm going to start doing some things out of order now. I'm going to get the radiator bits out. I can't mess those up terribly much. I might get the brace. I can do these bits, these little bits of things. Before I start working on the inside of the car, because that paint is drying. I'm going to get back to that after break. The stock exhaust is just, that is unused. This came with the kit. Instead of the to be used, and if it's not a GT350, it's just a 65 Mustang fastback. But here, just sort of skipping around to get things done. I'm going to get the radiator parts out. Those are going to just be painted flat black, I think. Yeah, flat black. Kind of like the bottom of the car. I know part of it is already broken off. There's the radiator. And then there's the radiator wall, this part here. the radiator goes on this side. Okay. Radiator. That's the outside of the radiator. Okay. That goes out. This is flipped around, I think, with that oval thing here. I think that means that that's the back of this, and this goes on like this. That's the front, and then this radiator piece here goes on the back. These two parts are going to come off next. I can do that. And then I can sand off the sprue bits, and then those are going to be primed and painted black. I hope I have enough black paint. Well, if not, I can go to the hobby store and buy another can. If you go to patreon.com/Dyson Dungeons, patreon.com/Dyson Dungeons, you can become a patron and help me buy another can of black paint if I need it. That would be really cool. You could do that. That would be really, really welcome. Because I just may end up having to do that. I ended up using a lot of black paint on the bottom and the interior of this, especially since I had to respray it, each of them twice. Okay, well, as I'm sawing these off, I'm looking here. Well, there. Looking here, and these are the insides of the wheels. If I jump around on the instructions, those are those parts, inner wheels. And their inner wheels are also painted flat black, whereas the outer wheels are chromed. So I'm going to get these off as well. But then there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be painted black. With the flat overcoat. But this part, the brace, that brace is actually supposed to be slightly glossy. So I could actually paint it. I've got some slightly glossy paint. I might do that. I didn't want the interior to be real shiny. Okay, it would just look like it was sprayed with leatherette spray or something. But I could paint this the glossier black because it goes across the top of the engine. It goes kind of well in the back there along the firewall. Yeah, I'm going to do that. If I remember, I'm going to paint that kind of the glossier color. Okay, well, I've got some parts to prep here. I can do that. I'm going to put these back in here. No, these will be primed and painted. This will be painted kind of a glossy black, and these will be the flat black. I guess the radiator would just be the radiator assembly is, they want it to be very flat, so it's going to be flat. And the inside of the engine compartment That's going to be a little bit of a challenge too. Yeah, there. Well, I'll look at those later. Get the sanding block out and a little sandpaper stuff. I'm going to get all these bits out and try to figure out what they are. I think I labeled one. I'm doing a good job of just muttering to myself today. Well, I'm muttering to you too. This one's 320. All the rest of these 400. And they're all just edges, so I'm just going to use this. I'm going to use one that's almost used up. I think this is the 1000 stuff. I'm just sanding the sprue attachments and a little bit of flashing that's all around the edges from the mold. So one of these days, once these are painted, I can install them and put the wheels into the tires. Yeah, that feels like an accomplishment when that happens. These are supposed to just snap on and still turn. I am guessing that is not going to work. That almost never works. Although I have to say, well, that's not entirely true. A long time ago, I think I was in maybe 7th grade. There was a group of us, of the boys in the class, because girls didn't build car models. We each got a car model. I got a 63 GTO, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a 63. And I really liked that car. I painted it this kind of lemon, really light lemon yellow, kind of chiffon lemon color. If you've ever seen that on a GTO, it looks really good with a black interior. We were supposed to build them and then race them, so the wheels did need to turn, and they turned on these models. And even like lubricated the axles so that they turned a little better. I don't think my car won. It looked pretty good though. I didn't have spray paint. I don't know how I painted it. I must have brushed it. I can't recall because uh, I never had any. I can't say no spray paint. I once had a can of spray paint in one. It was an F-106 that I built, and for some reason it was painted like a trainer or almost like a drone even. The wingtips and the tail were orange, so I got a can of the orange paint and taped it and painted it that way rather than brushing it on and whatever anything else. So I must have gotten a bottle of the right color paint and painted it with a brush. I bet it looked terrible. I think at the time I thought it looked pretty good, but I'm sure it didn't. You know, brush marks everywhere. Okay, well, these will be a little bit of a spray paint challenge, as it's the kind of thing that I just don't seem to accomplish very well, no matter how much I rotate the stuff I'm painting, because they have to be painted along the edges. So I have to, I think I'm going to just get a, put on a rubber, you know, one of those vinyl gloves and hold it up and spray the edges so that I don't have to respray them over and over again. So this is, you know, way out of sequence, but I got the bottom of the car done. I'm really, I'm actually really kind of surprised it came together as well as it did. I didn't think those parts would fit as well as they did. Um, and I should have done, you know, put some parts on earlier, and I didn't. And one part I put on fell off. And I put that back, but it's all together now in that box, and I'm not going to mess with it until maybe I show it on Wednesday or Friday or something if I need to prove to anybody that I've actually gotten somewhere on this car. So the other thing I was going to do today is I was going to paint some of the metallic detail on the seats in the interior. The seats have some metal trim on them that needs to be painted because they didn't give us chrome parts for it. They could have. It would have been really easy to have like the chrome framing around the outside of the seats as a part and it's just cemented on, but no, they didn't do that. So I was going to do that, and I was going to paint the door handles and the window cranks and a little bit of the trim around the, not the door handles, the opening lever for the doors. I was going to paint those silver, but I had to respray the parts because they didn't cover very well over the weekend. And by the time I get to it, it's going to be the last hour, and it's really delicate painting, really fine detail, and I can't mess it up. I really can't. Otherwise, the painting touch-up will be quite a challenge. So I'm going to save that for Wednesday. And the rest of this stream will be doing what I'm doing now, is prepping parts for priming and painting. These are going to be painted black. And then some of them, these, will be oversprayed with matte matte overspray. Probably the wheels too, the inside of the wheels, all of these. But this I'm going to be painting more of a glossy black. I'm going to just brush paint that with a glossier black that I've got. That's a bar that goes inside the engine bay. And I think it will look good. You know, it's going to be black, but I think it will look good if it's a little glossier than the rest of it. Just, yeah, see, I didn't get it. It looks okay, but I can still feel the screw bit there. So I'm going to go over these. Fingernail before I declare them finished. Oh, I can prime the pod for the tachometer too. I think that gets painted black. Oh, but I have to paint the detail on the inside. The thing with the spray paint is it's not the same as the acrylic. And so it doesn't paint over with other colors as well. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. It there's some other pieces that'll be painted black, but I'm going to tape. I'm going to mask the front of it. You know where the instruments are. Paint the rest of it to match the interior, which is just this black spray paint without the overcoat, so it has a little bit of gloss to it. The whole dashboard will be done that way. Is that part of it, or is that just a flaw? That's just a flaw in the plastic. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, there's mold seams. I don't know if those are show or not, but I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to get rid of those. Very, very significant. Big mold seams along the tops and the sides here. And so instead of looking like one piece of metal, this is like holding the radiator together. It looks like a piece of plastic with a that was molded with a where the two molds didn't match up very well. So what I'm going to do with the tachometer pod is I'm going to mask the part with the instruments and paint the rest of it to match the rest of the interior of the car, including the dashboard, with the spray black paint, and then paint the face of it separately with some black flat paint and detailing the instruments. You know, the chrome like bezels around them and the face and things. I've got pictures of the interior of real GT350s, so I can use that as a guide to the painting. So yeah, I'm just going to be sanding parts for the rest of the stream until I get tired of it, and then I'll stop. Like I said, I might end early just because it's Monday. This is bad here. Bad meaning that there's just a lot of the line is really prominent. Yeah, that was the not really a sump pump. It's well, kind of. It's a little the discharge from the humidifier goes into a reservoir, and then when the float valve floats to the top, it gets pumped out into the drain line for the house. So every once in a while you'll hear that. You didn't used to be able to hear it because there was a pop filter on the microphone and that came off when the studio was kind of rebuilt a while ago. It's not a studio. Okay, so let me back up. It wasn't rebuilt. There were just a bunch of upgrades to the software and some rearrangement of parts. And at that time, the pop filter wasn't. It didn't. It was not put back on. So you're now hearing ambient noises that you used to not be able to hear, and now you can. I'm going to say that that's just is a feature. It's a feature of this. It adds interest because I'm not. So I think background noises probably could could be considered actually to be more interesting than the stuff that I've got going here. Especially when I forget to do a monologue because I'm just didn't have anything to say. I probably should just start talking about car parts and stuff again and how we used to have to replace everything all the time. Car maintenance was a significant, uh, even though it wasn't as expensive, relatively speaking, as it is now. It was just constant. There was always something: oil changes, muffler replacements, brake replacements, brake pads, sometimes brake drums. If you kept the car long enough, even the drums, you don't even know what those are because we don't have drum brakes anymore. I could talk about brakes sometime. Maybe I'll remember to do that, about how brakes used to not be disc brakes like they are now. Those were exotic. Growing up, disc brakes were, you had those on sports cars, and sometimes even then, it was only on the front wheels. That's kind of clever. They had these molding circles and they just made them a feature as opposed to a flaw by putting some texture in them. Weird. But that is what it is. So I think this is cleaned up. This eventually will be, is it, I think the hose goes on the top. It goes on like that. Hmm. Well, that's just disappointing. The mold seams around this are really, really big, and because there's the texturing up here, the shaping of it. This is not bad. It's just a flat surface, right? Just sand it until it's smooth, but the rest will just take a little bit longer. Quite a bit longer, probably. Touch that with the file. Because it's right up against something there that I don't want to make disappear. No, this is going to, this radiator is just going to take a lot longer than I thought it would, because it's really very much a mess. The the mold seams are prominent, to say the least. And most of this will show once assembled, either on the top or the bottom. Okay, looking at it from the top, or if you turn the car over to take a look at the detail on the bottom, which was finished today. I might have to use this. I might have to use the file on the top and the bottom. I'm going to do the sides first, and then get to the top and the bottom. So it looked like I was making progress today, and now it looks like I'm not, because this is just taking some time. This is poorly executed in the injection molding process. Yeah, it's all because the two halves of the mold did not close against each other. And the result is that the plastic oozed out between them, leaving a little ridge all along the part. Okay, and all that time took just to clean up one side. And they didn't even align very well. You can see it here, if I put it up close, that they didn't even align. I wonder if I keep forgetting about that. It's a little, it's not really made by Dremel, but it's a Dremel-like tool, except it's much smaller. That might do this much more quickly without, but with the main concern with like a power tool is that it can, this is soft plastic, and it could just gouge it really quickly. And then then it's even worse than it was before. That's one of our dogs. You might be able to hear that now that the filter's off. You know, this is not a main, I should say it's not a really high priority for Dyson Dungeons to stream. That's become, you know, that's pretty clear. So yeah, our Dungeons and Dragons show has very high production quality, and it really does. It's in a studio. Alexis and Nicole built a studio down in the basement, you know, with really good lighting and sound baffling and high quality microphones and sound mixers and all sorts of stuff. And this is just spare parts down here. I'm working with spare parts like this ring thing and the microphone over there, and even the monitors they're pretty good. I mean, the one in front of me is huge, but they're old and not being used for anything else. So yeah, I mean, having ambient noise in the background lets you know that you know, this is not the professionalism level that we have in our show. So you should watch our show either when it streams on Twitch on Sundays at 2, or you can catch them on YouTube or listen to them as a podcast, them being the episodes of the show, which is really amazing. You really, 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 really should watch it and or listen to it, depending on, you know, which it is that you do, because you'd be impressed by the professional quality of the production and by our players staying in character, making the characters, you know, become what they are, not just their voices, but how they approach things and talk about things. I'm just muttering about it, but watch it. Just watch it and listen to it. I think you'll be really impressed by how good it is as a show. So do that for me, and then just understand that this is kind of a low budget spin-off that serves the purpose, I think, two purposes mainly. One purpose is to get me out of everybody's way 3 days a week for a couple hours. I think, you know, that's a good purpose. Why not? Otherwise, I'm just some old guy getting in the way of stuff. Probably spouting off advice nobody needs to hear, or grumbling or sighing or who knows what. So when I'm down here, I'm not doing that. And that's probably a benefit to everybody. The other is that I get to promote our show periodically during the stream by talking about Dyson Dungeons is all about its Dungeons and Dragons show. You need to watch it because it is really amazing. I play one of the characters. I play also Ralph the Furball Fighter. I had a figure of me here a while ago, but now it's in the studio and appears sort of in the background sometimes of what you'll see if you watch it. It is I need a new minifig, so there's a chance sometime in the future that all of our characters will get new minifigs, because we've leveled up and we have different, we're carrying different stuff. We appear differently. We have different armor and arms. My character has acquired different armor, and instead of carrying a flaming longsword, now has an extremely powerful hammer. Not, I mean, it's just kind of beyond legendary even, and is associated with the background lore, which is kind of hard, you know. I can't explain it all very quickly. Maybe what I'll do is I'll talk about that um, on another stream. Is I'll talk about the Hammer of Yontaro and why Ulsith Ralph has that, and what it does and why it's important right now. I probably won't do that today, but I'll give you just a heads up that in the near future, on this very stream, you'll be hearing about the backstory and lore of the new weapon that my character is carrying. And maybe if we print new minifigs on the 3D printer that we have, the rosin printer, I think that's coming in the future. They might be painted on this stream, which would be pretty cool because we haven't done anything like that in a long time. I mean, I haven't painted them, but it's likely that the other players will want to paint their own minifigs. Okay, I don't know if they'll do it on the stream. They should. They should do it on the stream as like guest stars. Zoria Ansul, our changeling druid, is played by Nicole, who is a trained artist, so she definitely should paint her own minifig because she'll be able to do a much better job than I can. And Alexis would like, well, she's the DM. Might paint Hoenn, I don't know. I don't know if Nines will paint. I don't know if Nines will paint, David will paint Nines minifig or have me do it. Or maybe have Nicole do it, and get it done well. I guess I would recommend that. That the new Nines figure be painted by Nicole. But I'll definitely be doing my own because that's how it will be. And it looks like this is finally getting to the point where it's not awful. With the mold seam showing. Okay, so there and I can be primed. This is okay. This isn't quite so bad because the mold seam is along. It's flat on the bottom, and the mold seam is along the edge. So the mold seam is just like flashing along the edge of it, which is a lot easier to clean off. I just need to get the angle right and rub it like that. Oh, okay, those need to come out. There's some circles, molding circles. And they're on the part that shows, they're on the top. Those are not Those are not part of the part. They're not really hard to take out. I just need to sand it down, but then I need to sand the rest of it so that the surface texture matches. That's actually the computer fan. I don't know why it's working so hard. It's really quite chilly down here. It's acting like it's grind, you know. It's acting like it's in the tropics somewhere. Clear, cooling off the computer. Take a look at. Yeah, those are the prongs that fit into something. It looks like it shows on both sides. It's weird. Okay, I'm gonna have to polish this whole thing when it comes down to it. And I don't know if you can see them, but there's these little circles here that are just they're not part of the part. They're artifacts of the molding, and they need to disappear. But in getting rid of them, I am getting rid of the gloss on the part. So I'm just going to sand the whole thing like that, and then polish it. And when I get these off, when I get these disappeared completely. Fortunately, these circles are raised and not indented, so I can just sand them down, down until they are gone. And they are refusing to disappear. I can see just little remnants of them in the shininess of the plastic, in the gloss of the plastic. Yeah, so if I remember, on Wednesday, I'll talk about brakes on cars like the ones I grew up with. Are these molding circles here too? Really? Yeah. Talking about brakes will be fun. brakes used to take a whole lot more work than they do now. You know, like maybe every 30,000 miles or something, you need to replace the pads on your disc brakes, and maybe about every 50,000 replace the rotors. You know, which seems like a real pain and it's expensive, but compared to the drum brakes that we used to have, it's really quite amazing how well they hold up and how well they work. But that's the topic for Wednesday. If I start talking about it now, then I won't have it for then. So I'm going to stop talking about it now. I'm going to get out the little bit of polishing cloth I've got. Polish this piece. I don't know why I'm going so fast. Why not? I don't know. That just feels like polishing. Yeah, I guess that's okay. I'm going to do this to the other side. I was going to do the sides of the radiator. Okay, well, these parts, along with a couple others, I'm going to wash those and then prime them and paint them. Probably tomorrow. This is the other part. I'm going to just check this. The dashboard parts. Yeah, the parts that go on the inside here. The dash is supposed to be, what is B? B is silver. The tack pod is F. Everything's F. F is black. Yep. Okay, so I'm going to mask the front of this little bit here, the tack pod, so that I can paint the rest of it the same color as the dashboard. Okay, and the dash, I don't know. I'll have to pull that out. But I think what I'm going to do with this is actually just mask it right on up to the edge. I think that'll be okay. Because then I can paint the edge of it a slightly different color too. This is gonna be a little bit of a challenge, but let me clean it before I mask it. Be right back. Oh, legs got cramped there. I'm just covering up some parts that were painted here, so that they don't get all filthy between now and whenever. And I'm going to get I'm going to just clean all of these at the same time. If I'm going to get the isopropyl alcohol out and clean things, I might as well clean all those parts. And then I'll get the little piece of cardboard and tape them to the cardboard so that they can be painted. Most of these are painted on both sides. So, prime it, turn it over, prime it, turn it over, paint it, turn it over, paint it. Put the clean ones on there. And they'll stay clean instead of getting on the cardboard here. And so the radiators and the wheels. That's interesting. This is the part that actually goes on the inside. This is the side that needs to be painted. This whole thing is like a contact point. Okay. Good thing I remembered that, because it's just like backward of what I would have thought. Excuse me. Yeah, that's this is the inside of the wheel here. That goes. Excuse me again. Supposedly in contact with the chrome part on the other side, on the inside of the tire. Huh. And I say supposedly because I really don't believe, I think they're going to be able to match up just like the Lotus Ford ones did. And this one's going to be primed, if I remember, primed on both sides, but not painted, because I'm going to use a different gloss for that. This only has to be painted on one side. And then it goes on. It gets attached here like that. One of these is the radiator cap, the filler cap, I think right there. I should paint that. I should detail that with like a gloss black or something. Okay, well, there's those. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the inside of this has a tachometer and something else. Hi, hi, Aman. Thank you. In her daily life? Okay. What's that going to be? I need to trim that. Those were borrowed. My little decal snipping scissors must have gotten borrowed for something else. I hope these work. Those are really good scissors. I hope they didn't disappear somewhere. Oh, there they are. They just got put in the wrong place. This is really weird. I don't know where these came from, but these are actually like family heirlooms, these little scissors. They came from my mother. So they're ancient because I'm ancient and that. So but this is really, it's got this curved blade, curved, well, yeah, so I can just snip right along the edges like this. And it's really good for trimming decals because you can see where you're cutting really well and not cut into the painted part, but get really, really close to it. Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't lose them. There. I'm going to mask that so I can paint the dial face on its own without having the spray paint on it because the spray paint is not good. That's okay. That's both funny and frustrating for somebody like me who spends a lot of time sanding stuff. Okay, I can imagine what it like as I get like this radiator sanded and ready to be primed, and then I look at it and it's back to where it started. So that would be funny up to a point. I say, if it lasts too long, then someone will get really angry. So, yeah. But that, like I said, having spent a lot of time, as you know, sanding things, that could get pretty frustrating. 12:30, okay. I'm going to, at this point, stand up and get that piece of cardboard that I used to tape these to it to spray paint them. No, it's not there. Because where is it? It's over here. I'm just going to get a different piece. I've got plenty of it. There's never a shortage of cardboard. Never a shortage of cardboard because people keep ordering stuff and we keep getting deliveries in boxes. Okay, but first, I'm going to look at this piece. This is the dashboard, or part of it. Yeah, this is supposed to be painted. You know what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to wait on this a little bit, but I need to do basically the same thing that I did with this. So the chrome part fits in here. It's got the radio and other things on it, and it would be better if it weren't chromed, to be honest. I'm gonna have to take a look at it because it's got, when you look at the real interior of the car, here, you can see what I'm talking about. This is the real interior of the car. This is the pod, okay, the tack pod, and those are the two instruments. So I'm painting the outside of it, the same as the dash. this whole thing, as you can see, it's not chromed. Like the dials here on the radio, that's the speedometer, the speedometer indicator is kind of chromed, and there's chrome details around these, which are like ACE air conditioning vents, which you don't have on the passenger side. Nice. But the whole thing is actually painted black except for the stuff on the top, and black paint doesn't adhere to the chrome. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to end up doing with that. So I think what I'm going to do, maybe I can do that now. I'm going to take this part off and cut that off with a sprue. Was I want to tape the parts, the inside of that. I want to tape the inside of that. But first things first. I can get to that later. If I don't get this done, then it's going to put me way behind. So I'm going to cut a piece of this cardboard here. Okay, that's better. I would love to have that. If you could do that for me, Aman, if you could do that for me, is regenerate the sandpaper, especially this stuff here, so it doesn't fill with the sanding, so it doesn't do this, so it doesn't get all filled and lose its grit. So it stays like this. That would be a really nice thing to do. That would be an extremely wonderful and generous thing to do. So I want these wheels to stand up off the surface a little bit so that I can paint around the edges. I'm going to actually hold this up when I spray paint it because I've been having problems getting all of the edges painted when I've been doing this kind of stuff. And I can't put them too close together. I don't want to put them too far apart. That just wastes paint. But if I put them too close together, then I can't get the edges. So these only need to be painted on one side. So after I prime them, actually what I should do is I should do the one side on one thing, and then the two-sided on another. I'm pretty sure that would be okay. I mean, it would be okay if it got filled, like this piece I showed you, if it got filled with the material, but as long as it didn't lose its grit. I would say that would be a really, really nice thing to do. That would be a valuable. That would be a very valuable use of your powers. Okay, and then this, I'm going to actually use some of the blue tape on that. Oh yeah, that's a good idea, asking them on about that. The filter, there was a filter on the microphone that got rid of all the background sounds like the furnace and this thing vibrating for the paint. Or if I shake a bottle, or even the sanding noise and the filing noise. Should we leave the filter off so you can hear those sounds, or should we turn the filter back on so that they're gone? What do you think? So you can hear, I can hear these noises like me dropping things, having them hit the floor and break and shatter. Hopefully not. Um, or we could put the filter back on so you can't hear those. These parts need to be done on both sides. Yeah, they might be. And I can pretty much guarantee that at some point those will occur. Okay. These parts can be primed. These will be primed and painted on one side only. And I've raised them up a little bit so I can hold it up and get the edges. Need to get the edges on all of these. And hopefully this will work out. If it doesn't, I'll sand it and paint it again. That's where I filled in the divot. Hopefully that will work. Maybe not. These need to be done on both sides. This one will be painted the spray paint black and this one will not. I need to remember not. Don't spray black. That will likely show through the primer. So I will remember. I'll remember that, maybe. Okay, well, these are going to get done. Should probably carry them up in a box. Yeah, it would only be a shattering noise if I dropped like the mug on the floor or something. Now that I said that, I probably did the mug on the floor curse. But like that, see that noise where the scissors are going in the box? I could even put it on camera. Here. Is that the kind of sound that you would just as soon not hear, or does it matter not, or is it good? Or like when I bumped the box just now, or the rustling of the paper. I don't know. I think the ambient noises, kind of like I hear them, so why shouldn't you? I don't know. Oh, just to remind everybody, I have finished steps 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay. And if I'm really brave, I might actually just reach over, move some things around, and show the thing I've done. I might just show that off. That's another weird. Why do we do things on or off? Like show off, rub off, sand down. There, put that aside. So these need to get painted. I'm going to be right back. I need to find a box. Point redeem. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay, I can do this because these parts are on a piece of cardboard. Well, they're much better now. Yeah, I repainted them. Yeah, much improved. Wonder if I'm gonna have to buy more black paint. I don't know. So I'm gonna not paint them in the box. I'm not gonna paint them while they're in the box, but I can use the box to carry them. Yeah, or that. The sound of me, instead of taking the time to set the cardboard down in the cardboard holder carefully, I just dropped it and then ended up spending 3 times as much time as if I'd done it the correct way the first time, picking it up and moving it back. Okay, I am going to take this off, the sprue. I don't, like 15 minutes left maybe. And see if I can get this ready to be painted as well. I'm kind of thinking I'm not going to be able to get this today. It'd be nice if I could, because then, but there are other little parts that need to be painted black as well. But at least I can show you. Oh, just not going very well there. At least I can show you what I'm planning to do. Well, there. Something got them going. Oh, wow. Okay. Use the demo. So it's okay. So you're going to be very busy with your new game. Oh yeah. As I'm getting close to the end here, the end of the stream and not the end of me. At least I hope not. I mean, I am old enough now that I am getting closer to the end. Oh, this is going to take a fair amount of work to clean up. There's flashing along here. Sprue, big chunks of sprue on the bottom. Okay, but I'm going to just tell you what I'm doing with what I'm planning to do with this part is that the dash cover, the top of it itself, this part, you're going to be really busy. So this part is going to be painted the same as the interior, which is just a spray paint. Okay, but then there's a lot of detail here, like on the dash. Oh, good grief. There should be a decal. Carol Shelby's signature is supposed to go on the dashboard. I don't know if it came with a decal or not. Or is it just, I don't think it's embossed. I need to look at that. The radio buttons and things need to be painted silver and black. The dash goes in here, the chromed part. These little buttons and things. So what I'm going to do is once I get this cleaned up, and that's going to take a while, so I'm going to wait until Wednesday to do that. Just seam marks, flashing, is I'm going to tape the inside of this. Okay, very carefully mask all of that. Um, actually, it'd be easier if I masked it, like even including the top here. I'll have to think about that. I know the outside of the top of the dash I want to be painted the same color as the interior, the spray paint, and around the edges. But I want the inside of it to be hand painted. Okay, so I can capture the detail. It's just like the top here though, the above the dials, it doesn't show very much. I think I want that spray painted the same color as the top, so that it's all one piece of vinyl, fake leather. So the taping here, the masking, that's going to be, there's lots of just lumps and bumps and things. So what's probably going to happen is it won't be perfect. But it'll be pretty close, and I can always do a little bit of touch up on there, because that part isn't really going to show unless you get way, you just won't be able to see it. So this seam right along here isn't going to be that critical, but what is shown on the dash is. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. On Wednesday, this part just needs a lot of cleaning up, so I'll do that. This will not be painted along with the rest of the stuff. This will just be put here in this stuff needs to be worked on box. But at least I kind of figured out a plan of action. I guess I can call it a plan. I don't know if there'll be much action involved, but it's a plan. There. And this stuff will be primed and painted. These just painted on one side. These will be the radiator. Oh yeah, I need to do an overspray on it with the flat, but not on that. Just these parts. Okay, well, I'll try to remember that. No matte. Well, these need to be treated differently. Okay, so this one doesn't get painted black. This gets painted black, but it gets no matte coating. These get painted black and get a matte coating. Maybe I should be able to get that done if I get to them today. I can put the primer on these today, and then spray paint them black except for this part. That won't be painted. Will that fit in here? Yeah, okay, I'll take this box up with it. This will be primed but not painted. These will get painted black. And then after they're painted black, this will come off, be put in here, and these will get overcoated. There's a plan. Before I wrap up, just to prove to you that I've actually done something, okay? Just to prove that things have been accomplished. This is the bottom of the car, okay? Don't pay attention to that. That's just a mask to cover up a problem on the other side. But the engine is installed, and I should be able to turn it over and show you the bottom of the car, which, except for little specks, okay, that it looks pretty decent, right? So you can actually, when the model is put together, supposedly turn this over and inspect the bottom, and it looks pretty good. And on the other side, you're going to be able to see this stuff when you open the hood. You'll be able to see back to about here, but the whole engine will be visible. And yeah, I got the exhaust headers on. Those fit on okay. They match up pretty well with the chromed exhaust. Not perfect, but you know, they're not bad. So I've done that. I've done those things. So yeah, the reason this is here is that when you turn it over, and you can see this because you look at the bottom, there's those holes there, which is where the stock exhaust was supposed to be installed, but it wasn't. And then those holes, they would show through. And so I didn't have the opportunity to fill them and sand them like I would like to have had, because I didn't realize that they were going to be there. So that's what this is it's painted black so that when you look at them, you don't see that you don't see through them. So I did that. This is a lot of steps that are completed. And you'll be able to see this, and it all looks okay. I'm going to wrap up now. Let me put this back here in a way that it doesn't fall on the floor. Put the scissors away so that they're not in the way. There's the other box. There it is. These are clothespins, those are clamps. You know, you can hear the clattering of me putting things away. Put these bits of sandpaper, which are still usable, in the sandpaper usable box. Put that over there. Set this here. Set this here because this is the stuff I'm going to be working on. And I'm going to say thanks for joining in. Thanks, Aman. Tomorrow, new game, cookie sorting, oh my, and your Harry Potter table game. Okay, on Wednesday, you can tell me if you survived Tuesday. Thanks, everybody. I look forward to seeing you, Aman. I hope you manage to get all of that stuff done tomorrow and that you enjoy it. I'm going to leave the pop filter off for now because no one's complained about the noise. But if that happens, if anybody thinks that the background noise is just too noisy, can take care of that. Yeah, see you in a couple days. Take care. Bye.